Did I hear you right on the radio this morning, Professor Ayers, that you're against Common Core?
I know a lot about Common Core, and the big catastrophe that Common Core is, and I am against it, and the reason I'm against it is because it perpetuates and intensifies the wrong direction in education, which is a constant obsession with standardized testing, which not only sorts winners from losers, but as Dean Martin will explain to you as a statistician, the problem with the standardized tests is, from a statistical point of view, is that anytime you say this is a performance metric, if you use it as a performance metric, it fails as a performance metric. Let me say that again. No performance metric works if you use it as a performance metric. So if the universe that you want to look at is good schools, and you say, we're going to do it through this test or through this simple, this one metric, then everyone will bend their efforts toward that metric. Common Core, along with the standardized testing regime that has gone crazy in this country, has reduced the notion of education to how you do on one simple metric. It's been a catastrophe for a generation, especially kids who are disadvantaged in other ways. And it's not real education. Education is big and bold and broad, and the Common Core narrows it because of its tie to testing. So no, I'm opposed to it.
Next question, please.
The political system is something that's now for sale. It's on the auction block. And Dinesh referred to his time in custody. Were you in custody? I'm not sure. He had an assistant.
I was in overnight custody.
He had an assistant drop him off at his sleeping quarters overnight. I offered to write him a letter to the judge asking him not to put Dinesh in prison. He turned it down because I was going to advocate that he go to North Carolina and register voters, which would fit the crime of corrupting the political process in New York. But no, I think the criminal justice system is deeply corrupt, and it's corrupted by politics.
Okay.
Okay.
The inequity of our criminal justice system is on full display right on this podium right here. So I gave $20,000 of my own money over the campaign finance limit. I got 8 months in overnight confinement.
8 months or 8 years?
8 months.
You said 8 years.
You bombed the Pentagon and tried to bomb all kinds of other things. How much time did you do in the slammer?
No, the fact is that you admitted to committing a felony, which you did, and it was a felony that was pretty serious in a democracy, which was an attempt to buy an election.
All right.
Attempt to buy an election.
Look, Bill, right about the time my case was going through the court, another fellow named Chatwal, another Asian Indian guy, we Asian Indians appear to specialize in campaigns finance violations. But in any event, this guy gave 180 grand in straw donations to Hillary Clinton and a whole group of Democrats. He was also found guilty of witness tampering, and he boasted about corruption. He goes before a judge in New York, a federal judge, no prison, no confinement. So here's my point. Yes, justice is a matter of did you break the law? But it's also a matter of, does the penalty fit the crime?
I think this idea that political correctness has taken over somehow is a little bit of a fantasy, and I know it's orthodoxy. The fact is that there's a lot more discussion of it than there is the enforcement of it. Language should be free. We should talk about things we need to talk about, and that means not just yes, some controversial things. The controversial things ought to be at the center of it. In colleges, you talked about the elite universities. The reality is,
first of all, Doug's got to be brave to go into that kind of thing.
As a gay instructor, as an atheist.
I mean, I don't think we ever had a security plan for Doug before.
It's an assertion by raw power by claiming victimhood.
Rebellion.
The charge is you're a racist. Racist, sexist, anti-gay. You're a sexist. Douglas Wilson, go away. And you're anti-gay. Racist, sexist, anti-gay. Douglas Wilson, go away.
Right. And it's stated in such a way as to rhyme.
This is not the first time I've run into the tolerance buzzsaw.
I have to defend my T-shirt because you said that you found it difficult or offensive or narrow. If I were standing in Berlin in 1935 and I said Jewish lives matter, I had a banner, you wouldn't say all lives matter. Of course all lives matter. That's a given. But it's a problem is that we're actually facing something. Of course, German lives matter, but the lives that were at risk, the lives that were being contested were Jewish lives, and in this case, black lives. It's useful to raise the slogan. Okay. I agree with you, all lives matter, and that's assumed.
We have before us the opportunity to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, a world where the rule of law, not the law of the jungle, governs the conduct of nations. When we are successful, and we will be, we have a real chance at this new world order, an order in which a credible United Nations can use its peacekeeping role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders.
I believe we, and particularly you, your class, has an incredible window of opportunity to lead in shaping a new world order for the 21st century in a way consistent with American interest and the common interest.
A new world order.
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 A new world order.